not because you ask passively. Let's talk about it. Hey, boo things, Lorraine Shine here, author, therapist. Most importantly, y'all know I am in this journey with you. And I want to talk about assertive sentence starters and what those sound like. Many of us, we've heard the term passive, assertive, and aggressive, and passive aggressive, right? But it's hard to kind of distinguish those in speech or what that looks like. So when we say assertive, assertive means that I speak what I want, what I need, what I feel. I want, I need, I feel. So when I use assertive speech, I am using one of those three parameters in the tone that I speak it in, or in the sentences that I speak in. So if I start the conversation with you made me feel. That's aggressive, first of all, but it's also passive aggressive, because you made me feel gives this person the power to control your feelings. And no one has the power unless you give it to them. So if I say, I feel when you, then that is assertive. I am now saying what I feel, and I am distinguishing the reason behind why I feel this way, right?
Hey guys, welcome to Little Black But 91. I'm going to play the rest of the clip for you guys in a second or two, but I wanted to play this clip because I think it's an amazing clip. It's something I've been dealing with in the past few months, talking about assertive communication. Now, if you've been following my channel for a little while, you know I've been talking a lot about childhood neglect, talking about self-abandonment, talking about how we struggle to speak up and tell people our actual needs. And, you know, I try to give the background of things here. This conversation is powerful because in relationships, you're going to need to be able to speak up. And it's one of the things I've been talking about quite a bit. Speaking up is one of the hardest things for a lot of people because a lot of people have been neglected in childhood emotionally. So they've been taught that their emotions and their feelings and their wants, needs and desires aren't important, and that they must meet their own desires and their own needs, which makes people hyper independent and unable to be able to ask people for help or ask people to meet their needs, right? Which is what causes issues in relationships. So that feeling of being afraid and guilty, feeling shame or embarrassed to ask somebody to meet your needs actually locks up the throat for a lot of people. And it's like, I don't want to say it. So they end up becoming passive aggressive and trying to meet their needs from going behind a partner's back and getting it from someone else, or they can be super aggressive where they let everything build up, pent up, and then it fires off at the person, and then it's all coming out at once, and the person's like, whoa, what happened? How do we get here, right? Now, we don't want to be in either of those spaces. What we're looking for is balance. Someone say it to me, balance. Type in the chat, balance. That's what we're looking for when it comes to our relationships. We're looking for balance, and we're looking for our partner to be able to meet us at the point where we're needing our needs to be met. But the only way we can do that is the Bible says you receive. The reason why you don't receive is because you ask not. This is in James. You receive not because you don't ask. And so if we don't ask, we can't get. Most times our needs won't be met. We'll be unsatisfied, and then we'll be angry and annoyed and resentful of this. And actually, this ends up mirroring how we ended up in childhood, where we asked for our needs to be met. We were rejected by the parent or the caregiver, and thus we learned to not give our needs or supplications onto our parents, because we realized they will not meet our needs. And in fact, a lot of people translate this into how they deal with God. They don't want to ask God for their needs to be met unless it's a complete last minute thing and they need a complete miracle. Then they ask God. But if it's the day to day, it's like, no, I don't want to bother God. I don't want to ask him for something. I don't want to get in his face, and then he's got things to do, rather than saying, actually, no, this is what I need. And I love the fact she brought the communication, because the communication is really important, because learning how to assert yourself through the communication. I need, this is what I need. This is what I want. This is what I desire. This is what I see. It's putting the emphasis on you. This is what rather than saying you, which also ends up becoming a double hit, because when you start saying you, it also turns into blame. You did this. Where it's like, no, you, when it's like, actually, I feel like, I feel like this when you did this. For instance, I feel angry when you missed my birthday, right? Rather than putting a, you don't care about me because you see, when you start going, you don't care about me, you've gone into that space where you've got into a narrative. No, I feel annoyed or hurt when you missed my birthday. You know what I'm saying to you? Like you're putting emphasis on you and how you feel, and you're taking ownership of how you feel and responsibility. And that's really important, because what that says is that there's a behavior that has affected you, but you understand that you have control over that behavior and you have control over your feelings. You're not putting that on them to say, you control me like a puppet and a doll, that I don't have no control. So, but it's very hard to get to that place where you're able to, one, not put the blame on your partner when something goes wrong, and two, be able to speak up and say what you actually need, because a lot of us are feeling guilt, shame, and embarrassment. And we see this in the Bible with Adam and Eve. The reason why they got to a place where they ran into the bushes and covered themselves with fig leaves, because they were embarrassed, shamed, and felt guilty. Whenever we feel those emotions, we tense up, we clam up, we cover up, and we run away. We don't want to be in a place where we're vulnerable. And it takes a level of vulnerability, a level of openness, a willingness to actually say that I'm going to put myself on the line and I could be told no here. It takes that to be able to say what you got to say, right? And many of you have suffered disappointment in your childhood, and it's permeating into your adulthood. And so you're not asking your partner for your needs and your wants because you're afraid of being disappointed. And you trying to avoid that disappointment leads into resentment and anger, or it results into you wanting to feel guilt, shame, and embarrassment and wanting to flee. But I'm here to tell you, listen, today's a day. Choose whom you're going to serve. You're not going to choose fear. You're going to choose love, right? And in that love, we're going to choose that actually I need to put me first in order to actually put you first. I can't serve you if I don't put me first. If I haven't eaten and I'm now tired and weary, I cannot give you the full strength that you need to serve you. Right? So it's important that we learn how to put ourselves first. And that can be very difficult too. The reason why it can be difficult to put yourself first is because we know that through the course of a relationship, right, when we are so used to thinking for other people in order of a way not to be rejected or to be hurt, or as a self-defense mechanism, right? So we start thinking for people. We're trying to think steps ahead. I know what they're thinking. Why? Because you don't want to face a rejection. You have to brace yourself because they may say something that may cause you to feel some type of way. So you're thinking for them, but you're projecting, right? Don't think for me. Don't tell me what I'm thinking. Don't tell me how I'm feeling. I want to tell you what I'm feeling. So you have to get to that place, and it takes a little bit of time. But when you get that, I can promise you it's a liberation that you've never felt before. When you get to that place where you're able to tell someone, this is what I feel. Because a lot of times also too, alongside that, what people are also feeling is that they feel like if I tell you how I feel, I may harm you. You see, because you're feeling like that. You're feeling like if they tell you what they feel, you might feel some type of way. So you're projecting and trying to almost anticipate that they're going to feel some type of way if you tell them how you feel. And that's because, again, in your childhood, you realize that you couldn't tell your parent that your emotions or what your needs were or what your wants were, they weren't actually acknowledged. So what you learned to do was, well, I shouldn't bother them. So now in your process of mindset with a story time, you're telling yourself, let me not tell you my needs because it might affect you, it might harm you, it might hurt you. And then actually, I won't get any of my needs met. And then actually, I'd rather take a little bit than nothing. But the reality of the situation is this, it's better to take nothing. At least you know who you're dealing with. You know what I mean? But we take breadcrumbs from people so that we can keep them in our lives because we're afraid of being abandoned, right? But the reality of the situation is every time we take breadcrumbs, we're further actually creating a delusion in our brain, and actually further, we're getting hungrier and hungrier, and one day we're going to snap, right? And that relationship is going to be carnage, right? But let's listen a bit more to what she said.
Right? If I say, I would like, this directly tells you what I want. It's different from the passive conversation, which says, well, would it be possible if you, right? Because then that gives you the out to say no. And then what happens if you say, well, no, I don't want to do that. Or this person gives you a different option that you don't really want, or it's not really what you would like. And now I'm disappointed or upset or angry or resentful because they didn't give me what I wanted, but I didn't actually speak what I want. So if I know what I want, I say what I want. I would like, I need you, I need this. So I wanted to give you this tidbit on assertive communication because many of us know exactly what we want, what we need, and what we like, but we're afraid to say it. And then we're disappointed. Here's the thing. You will get 100% of the unspoken expectations that you have will be unmet. Let me not say that. 98% of unspoken expectations will not be met, because even a broken clock is wrong twice, or it's right twice out of the day, right? So what does that mean? That means that even if I don't speak their expectations, they might get them right, but they ain't gonna know if they got them right, because they don't know what the expectation is. So when you are assertive in your communication, whether that's romantically, platonically, familially, is that a word? Let's use it. Or even at work, right? Any relationship that I am in, I want to be able to direct that relationship with assertive speech.
And that's a key point, right? You need to able to direct your life, and your life is still your life within the scope of a relationship. One of the things that's really important also is, I'm going to do a video on this, is being able to hold a healthy tension between your feelings and my feelings, right? I have needs, you have needs, and I need to be able to hold a healthy tension, because what ends up happening is a lot of us have got to a place where we're people pleasing. We're willing to hold what another person's needs are in order to keep them in the relationship, but we then self-abandon our own needs in that space in the hope that they will guess it, because we like the fact that someone guesses it. I don't want to tell you what my needs are, because then it might not be real, it might feel fake, it might feel rigid, it might feel like you're not really being true, but it's not because of that, it's because you're not used to telling people what you actually need, right? The reality of the situation is, how can a person change if they're not being told they need to change? You're not giving that person time or the opportunity to be able to do what you actually ask them to do. Yeah, at first it may feel a little bit stiff, but the reality of the situation is, it's going to get much more natural as time progresses, right? So it's important to get to that place, right? And important to get to that particular position as well. So a lot of us are afraid again of holding a tension between your feelings and their feelings. I can state how I feel and still listen to what you got to say as your feelings too. And then we can come in, we may need to jostle a little bit, we may need to work it out a little bit, we may need to jigsaw, Rubik's Cube it up a little bit to bring a solution that both of us can come together. We may need to do that, but you shouldn't be afraid of the coming together to rectify or come to a conclusion where we both can make it try and work, right? We shouldn't be afraid of that process, but a lot of us are, because we're not used to working things out. We're used to losing. We're used to having to surrender. We're used to having to submit. So we don't know how to assert ourselves. And then we start feeling selfish. Like, how dare I put my feelings across? How dare I say what I need? How dare I say what I feel, right? And it's because, again, that narrative in your head tells you you're not worthy of being able to tell somebody what you feel. You can. And today you will. From today you will. Okay, all right. No harm will come to that person. They're not going to die if you tell them what you're actually feeling or what you actually want. And if they're going to die about it, maybe they're not the right person for you. Maybe you need to reconsider. Right? That's the whole point. Okay, so we're gonna be able to hold that healthy tension between the two of us, right? But language is important. This is what I want. This is what I want. This is what I want to see. This is what I want to. This is what I want to know. This is what I feel. Right? You put that on responsibility on you. Don't vacate your responsibility. Adam and Eve did the same thing. When God asked Adam, Adam says that is Eve who gave me. Eve then said it's a snake. Everybody vacated their responsibility. Take responsibility for what you're doing. Take responsibility for what you contribute towards a relationship. All right, guys, like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification on uploads. We appreciate you guys. Don't forget, listen, this is the kind of work that we do in our coaching all the time. I am going to start now doing a group coaching session. I want to talk about, finding your voice as well, because I think it'll be really powerful for a lot of people as well. So make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button. If you want some coaching, click on my diary. It is not free, but also I'm not charging a specific amount. So you pay according to what you feel the session is absolutely worth. And don't be afraid whatever you give me, because that's the whole point of this training. We're trying to teach you not to think about what other person's feeling. Don't think for me. Okay? Think for yourself. All right? Appreciate you guys. Say lots of We'll see you again soon. Much love.